Cage Minds, Micah Frankel. The Rumbel at Revel press conference just happened. We now know officially Josh Pitbull Torres is back in the ring on February 4th, back here locally. How's it feel, sir, having a date, having a fight locked down again?
It feels really good because, I mean, my last fight was back, on the Tapia Promotions card, so it's been a while. And like I mentioned earlier in the press conference, I'm not getting younger, so I want to stay busy. I need to stay off of the shelf, and this is that first step in doing that.
The last 2 years, you said it yourself, not that able to stay busy. I believe only one fight each of the last 2 calendar years. What is the expectations from yourself for what 2023 looks like?
I think it's going to be really busy. We already have things that we're working on for the end of the month. So don't be surprised if, I fight more than 4 times this year, but at least 3 times. That's the plan.
Now, you can be honest. There was a pandemic. Everything slows down. Was there ever a point where you started saying to yourself, maybe I'm just going to go heavier into the coaching role and not compete? Did you ever have those thoughts?
I never had those thoughts, not one time. Even during the pandemic and the shutdowns, I was still training. Still had my dad and my coach Ricky going with me, running. We were staying in shape, staying ready, and it paid off because as soon as we started getting these fights lined up, we were in decent shape and able to move forward.
If you make anybody go running with you, that's cruel and unusual torture. I've seen you run.
Well, they're on bikes, so they don't have it as bad, but yeah, I run with youngsters though, like Maximus Moy, my other fighter, Elijah. Those guys run like 6:30, 7-minute miles. So for me, as the old man, heavier than they are, it's work for me to keep up with them. So they're actually pushing me, keeping me young. And that's what's exciting about my next little venture into coaching and transitioning into that is that not only am I coaching and fighting at the same time, but I'm learning and growing from both sides. As a coach and as a fighter, they're helping me in both sides of it.
Everyone's coming up to you after we're done with the press conference. Pitt, you look thin. You look nearly on weight. You even, said it's because you guys saw me a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. You're somebody that we've seen take care of themselves, and I swear you're nearly fight shape, it looks like, all the time that I see you. How much has fitness been prevalent to you and your success?
I think it's huge. I think that it's important, especially for young fighters, to know that they need to stay healthy. It doesn't mean that you have to stay in fight shape. Obviously, it's way too hard on the body to stay fight ready, but you have to stay in decent shape. And I think that's what's helped me with the longevity of my career. I mean, like I mentioned, I'm going on 20 years in the game, and I feel like I haven't even, scratched the surface. I still feel really good. I feel young and hungry because of that reason that I've stayed so active and disciplined in my fitness.
You just let that roll off the tongue, I feel like, way too easily. 20 years in the game, that's quite a remarkable accomplishment in of itself.
It is, man. It's been a long journey, highs, lows, ups, and downs, but I've been grateful through it all. I've had a good support system, my family. My dad is my trainer, my mom, who's always been there from day one. All of my fans, my beautiful wife, my boys, who later came, later on in my career and just motivated me and helped push me past those humps, those moments where you even mentioned, like, sometimes you just want to, hang it up and quit. They were able to give me that extra motivation to keep moving forward.
You've seen a couple different eras of fighters coming up. We saw the Sanchez brothers. We saw Pat Holmes boys. So you've been here to see the pro debut of a lot of these guys. Now seeing a guy that you saw his pro debut in Matthew Griego and being the co-main event, seeing the steps he's taken, does that give you almost any kind of nostalgia to when you were kind of making that same next level transition?
It does. And if you would have asked me when I was first turning pro, when I was 18 years old, if I would have made it this far, I would have probably said no, because I never would imagine that I would have gone, like you said, through, a few generations of fighters. I mean, I had, the Vincent Garcias and the Hector Munoz, the people before me when I was turning pro. Then we had my generation, Fidel Maldonado, Vince Maribal. Then the generation after us, Angel Baby Perez and, all these guys. Now we have this new upcoming generation. I feel like I'm 4 generations deep. And I feel like like I said, I'm just getting started. I feel like I'll see maybe a generation or 2 more in the future before I hang them up.
a 43 fight vet by my calculation is going to be your opposition on February 4th. What do you do to fight a guy that we could say he's seen it all?
I just have to be mentally and physically prepared, because a guy like that, he doesn't come to lose. I've watched tape on him. He's awkward, he's tall, he's lengthy. So I'm going to have to be on my A game. I can't overlook this guy, even though we have plans for the future and we want to be busy in 2023. We have big plans, but first and foremost, we have to take care of Todd Manuel. I'm not going to overlook him. And, we plan on being victorious and doing what we have to do.
We've talked about your coaching endeavors real quick, without getting too deep into it. How much wilder was it for you cornering a bare knuckle boxer?
Oh man, it was a game changer for sure. That bare knuckle boxing is something else, and until you've experienced it live like I did, you really don't understand just how crazy and exciting it is. Just something about the energy in that arena was crazy, and that was in Rio Rancho at the event center. And I'll be honest, it's hard to get Albuquerque fans out there because of the drive. So now that they're having it here at the Tingley Coliseum, I think it's going to be electrifying, and I'm excited to not be coaching just one fighter in Josh Moreno, but also Diego Sanchez.
And that's crazy. I mean, from where we were growing up, we're looking up to Diego, seeing, wow, he's breaking into this Ultimate Fighter stuff. And now you're a part of his team and you're a coach. How does that hit you, being like, wow, one of the OGs is coming to me for advice?
It's surreal because the dude's a New Mexico legend. I mean, this is one of the original UFC, success stories. And he's the one that put us on the map for MMA. He's the reason we have so much attention here as a fight town. I mean, we owe a lot to Diego for what he's done in MMA. And now that, like you mentioned, now that he's knocking on my door saying, hey, Pitt, will you come train me? I mean, it's an honor. And it just goes to show that, the hard work and all the years that I put into this game is starting to pay off. And people are seeing that, it is worth it in the end. So, a lot of times early in your career, you start to wonder, is this even worth it? Is this worth my time? Because it takes a lot. But at the end of the day, if you really believe in it, you truly love it like I do, it is worth it.
February 4th, a tough foe in front of you. Do you see yourself getting the knockout here?
If it comes, it comes. I'm prepared. It's only a 6-rounder, so I'm not the fastest starter in the game, but we've worked on the adjustments in the gym and trying to get off quicker. But if I could get the knockout, that'd be an even greater way to start the year.
Pitbull, always great talking to you, sir.
Thank you.